Hello guys, welcome to this new tutorial. Today we are going to talk about what is a GitHub branch, right? We're going to talk simple, what is a GitHub branch? So let's try to understand what is a GitHub branch. Now, a simple definition that we can say is that a GitHub branch is just the parallel copy of the repository, right? The GitHub branch is just the parallel copy of the repository. Now, how does that work, right? A GitHub branch is just a parallel copy, right? Meaning that we copy that from the repository. Now, how does that work? Imagine, let me bring my Epic pen here. Imagine that we have a repository. This is our repository here. So this is our repository, right? We can call this repository, for example, Canary. Let's call that repository the Canary. So this is our repository on GitHub, and that repository is called Canary. Now, what can happen is that I can make a parallel copy of this repository, right? And call it feature 1. Another person can make a parallel copy of this repository and call it, for example, ABC. Another person can make a parallel copy of this repository and call it, for example, Tarzan. You can give any name that you want on your repository. So this is the main repository called Canary, and people can make copies, right? You can make copy. Now, this allows collaboration, meaning what? Multiple people can make a copy and work. And what's going to happen is that the individual working on this repository is different from the individual working on this repository, is different from the individual working on this repository. So all these 3 people can be working on their separate repository, meaning that they will be working on the copy of the repository, right? Called branches. So we call these branches, right? We call it branches. So this is a branch, this is a branch, this is a branch here. So like they will be working on separate copy of the repository. Now, as you can see, they are not working on the main repository. So they are going to work here. And when they finish doing what they are doing, they are going to now merge their code back to the main repository, right? This one also, when he's done working, he can merge his code. This one also can merge his code. That allows multiple people to work on an application. So how does multiple people work on an application is that an application will be located in the repository and people will clone, right? People will clone, meaning that make the copy, right? Not mean like people will create the branches, right? People will like create branches of the repository repository, then they'll be working on those. That's why we said that branches are just parallel copy of the repository. Now, as you can notice that when this individual here make a copy of this repository, he can add file or directory here. He can also delete them. So meaning that at that point, this repository, at that point, this branch here and this main branch here is not the same. By the way, guys, every single repository comes with a default branch. I will show you that on the UI, right? So the main branch, so it might not be the same. And when he make the copy, now when he actually push back here, it's going to be the same. So we will see that when we see what is called pull request. So in simple language, a branch is just a parallel version of the repository. Now, let's go to GitHub and take a look at all this, right? Let's go to GitHub and take a look at all this. So let's go to GitHub, for example, right? Let's go to this repository here called teaching, right? Every single repository have a default branch. Every single repository have a default branch. So when you create a repository on GitHub, it comes with a default branch called main, for example, right? Our default branch here is called main, right? This is a default branch. As you guys can see, I have only one branch called main here. Now, I can create a branch here, meaning that I can make a parallel copy of this branch because this repository now is there, but the code that I have in this repository is now on one branch, which is called main. I can make the copy of this on another branch, right? I can create another branch. There are 2 ways to create branch in GitHub. The first way is that you can come down here. So if I click here, you see I'm creating a branch from main, right? You can create, one thing I forgot to mention, that you can create a branch from another branch. But let's start, for example, let's create a branch from main. So let's call this branch, I will say feature 01. I can create this branch called feature 01. I will type here, then I will come here, click to create, right? I will click here. Then it will create another branch called feature 01. As you guys can see now, I have a branch called main, which is my default branch. Then I have another branch called feature 01. Now let's go back to main and now create, for example, another branch called feature 02, right? We create another branch called feature 02, right? As you guys can see, I have main, feature 01, feature 02. We can go ahead and, for example, go back to main. Like why am I going back to main? Because if I create my branch from here like this, it will create a branch from feature 01. But if I want to create my branch from main, I will have to go to main first and create another branch. Now, another way to create a branch on GitHub is that you click here on branches. You click here on branches, you click here, and we open this page for you. You can see a new branch, and we say enter the branch name. You can call it, for example, Canary is a new branch, then the source, right? If you want to go from main, from feature 1, from feature 2, you can pick the first as main, then you can create that branch. So right now, if I go back to my repository, you guys can see that I now have 4 branches, right? Including the main branch. So now let's see, for example, a difference, right? Let me go to my feature 01. So to switch a branch, you come down here on the drop down menu, you can switch branches here, right? You can go to 02 if you want, you can go to Canary if you want, you can go to 01. So let's go to 01. Then let me do something. I'm going to create another directory on feature 01. So I can come down here. For example, I say upload. So let me go ahead and upload, for example, a directory there, right? Let me find a dummy directory and upload there actually, right? So I'm actually checking on my computer here to see if I have any directory that I want to go ahead and upload those. So let me look for, I know I have a directory here called Taser, which contain multiple other directories. So I can go ahead and upload this directory called production deployment. Actually, it looks like it's an empty directory. So let me go ahead and upload this one called store application. Seem to be empty as well. Wow, we have a lot of empty directory here. So let me go ahead and upload this one. Wow, I got the one with 25, right? Upload that directory. I can commit that. It was a directory with 25, so let's give him a second. Now, as you can see, I have this directory here called responsive website restaurant. That directory is on feature 01. If I switch to Canary, you don't see that directory there. If I switch to main, you don't see that directory there. If I switch to, for example, feature 02, you don't see that directory there. Meaning that if you add a file or a directory into a branch, it stays to that branch. It does not affect other branches. That is why people can work individually, meaning that if I have 1,000 people working, they just have to create their own branch and everybody can do what he's doing and without affecting others, right? If I go, for example, to the Canary here, I will create a file. So let's create a file here. Let's call that file, for example, Canary-test, right? And we come down here, I will say DevOps is easy to learn, right? We say DevOps is easy to learn. And then we say commit that. You can see here, I have a file here called Canary test, right? That file is actually located in the Canary branch, right? That file is actually located in the Canary branch. So in the Canary branch, I can see that file here. But if I go to feature 01, I don't see that file. If I go to other branch like main, I don't see that file, meaning that people can work independently, right? Now, you can create a branch. You don't always have to create a branch from the default branch, right? You don't always have to create a branch from a default branch. You can create a branch from another branch. For example, if I come here on branches, I can create a branch. Let's say I want to create a branch called, for example, Canary, second. Then I can create that from Canary, right? I will say, hey, the source is Canary, and then my new branch is Canary second. I can go ahead and create, for example, my branch, right? So I have the Canary. Did I create that? Looks like I never click OK on that. Yes, it was created, right? As you can see here, Canary second. If I click on that branch, you see, I will see here Canary test because I made a copy from canary. So I created canary second from canary. That's what I can see. So that's just how branching system works on GitHub. And all this here, we will see that later on pull request. This is just to show that, hey, you made a change into your, to your repository and stuff. So that's how you see there, you see the different, for example, like you see, like, for example, like a different, different change, right? Later on, I will show you how to see the difference between two branch, right? But this was just to explain to you what is a branch and how to create a branch. Now, you can also, delete a branch if you want. So I will create another video into how to manage a branch, but it's easy. You can create a branch, same as you can go ahead and delete that branch. For example, if I go to branches, I can actually delete a branch. If I don't want this canary second, I just have to come here and click on this trash can, and then it's over. But you can get it back as well. That's what is the beauty on GitHub. So you can delete the branch, you can also get it as well. So you can also delete it, click here and you can, do some manipulation, and I will shoot another video into how to manage branch. Thank you for following me until the end. If you like the video, go ahead and like it, and also don't forget to subscribe so that you don't have to miss upcoming video. Thanks.